Hi, good morning, everyone. So, this morning we're going to be looking and examining the critical thinking guide designed by yours truly, Jermaine Dunn. Uh, I know that critical thinking is a very hot topic in the education arena at this point in time. And from what I have seen, there are some 90% of students in our schools who are unable to think critically right across the board when it comes to mathematics, English language, whatever subject it wants to be. So today, in about 10 minutes or so, we're going to just look at this critical thinking guide and look at how we can use this guide to teach our students the skill of critical thinking. Let us begin. Now, let me state that critical thinking cannot happen without domain knowledge. However, with that said, critical thinking in itself is a skill that can be taught to whatever students. Now, many teachers may ask the question, how is it that I, the teacher, my friend, Peter, Paul, were able to critically think and other students are not, while no one taught them how to critically think, so to speak? Well, I will simply answer you by saying that you were able to critically think because you went through what is called desirable difficulties. You are a self-directed learner, and being a self-directed learner, you were able to develop those critical thinking skills by undergoing constructive struggle, as one researcher, Budgerk from UCLA, has suggested. Now, we're going to begin by looking at critical thinking from the perspective of a statement. Yes? Now, over here, we're going to begin with this initial statement. It says, James is greedy. Do you agree? Well, by going through this statement to answer this question, do you agree? We have to begin by identifying the given information in this statement. Well, from this statement, to identify the given information, we have to ask ourselves, as the critical thinker, the student, what am I trying to find out? Well, when you look at the question, it says James is greedy. So this question suggests that your keyword here is greedy. Yes, that's the keyword, greedy. Here, greedy is our keyword right there. Now, James is greedy. That's what we're trying to find out. So, as a student, the student would go through and the student would document every single step so that they can develop the skill. So, keyword, what are you trying to find out? I am trying to find out if James is greedy. All right, that's taken care of. Next part. It says, what do I currently know? And yes, in your minds, you must be wondering, why are we asking what we currently know? That is because critical thinking needs certain information. Yes? So you can't draw a conclusion without certain particular information. Yeah? So what do I currently know? Well, based on this question, we know nothing. This statement, sorry, we know nothing. It just simply say James is greedy. Do you agree? There is nothing here. And if there's nothing here in terms of information, it means that when we move to step 2 down here, which requires that we compare given information with prior knowledge, we're going to need to ask ourselves here, how does what I am trying to find out compare to what I already know? And at this stage is when you're now going to use the information you have and compare it with your prior knowledge. And that is why I said critical thinking requires domain knowledge. You need domain knowledge in order to be able to think critically. But this stage is the stage where you're now going to have to execute reasoning in the form of comparison, analyzing, yes? Analyzing what you have and what you already know. But at this stage, if there's nothing that we already know, then if there's no current information, there is nothing that you have to compare with. All right. Now, and that means that our step 3 here, which is linking, the linking stage, when you are now going to have to link the given information to prior knowledge to what you want to find out. And at this stage, you would need to ask yourselves, how can I link what I currently know? Yes, that's the information. And remember, the statement, James is greedy, didn't tell us anything. So we currently know nothing. We just know what we're trying to find out. All right. So we're to link this given information to prior knowledge. And again, that could not have been done there. And then to what? Having linked the given information to prior knowledge to what you want to find out. At this stage, there is no connection to be made. Yes? And if there is no connection to be made, then this linking stage cannot take place. All right? So just take a minute, pause. You can pause this podcast and you can think about what we just said earlier. Or you can just replay so you can process it more easily. All right, so now we're going to switch to another situation. The situation says James is greedy because he is always eating and does not like to share. All right, so that's a statement. We now need to use critical thinking to make a decision as to whether or not we agree or disagree that if James is greedy. All right, so let's proceed. Now, based on what we have here, going through the critical thinking guide, it says identify given information. The given information here, at this stage, we're going to have to ask ourselves, what am I trying to find out? And again, we're trying to find out if James is greedy. All right, good. So let's go through this one. I am trying to find out if James is greedy. All right, so let's check. Let's continue. Now, next part of this step. What do I currently know? So the learner has to ask themselves this question. So the learner will go through, and what do you currently know? Well, I currently know, looking at the statement, I currently know that James is said to be greedy because he does not like to share. That's what we currently know. All right. So now we have taken care of step 1, identifying given information. Now we're going to move to step 2, which is critical. This is a step where the student has to evaluate and analyze. Now it says compare given information with prior knowledge. So now the given information here, as I said, is that you're trying to find out if James is greedy. Keyword there is greedy. And you currently know that James is said to be greedy because he does not like to share. Now, it is at this stage when we have to pinpoint the key word, which comes from what we're trying to find out. And the key word here is greedy. Well, right now, we have to ask ourselves, how does what I'm trying to find out compare to what I already know? Well, what you already know will come from your keyword or words, but the word in this case. The keyword here is greedy. So this statement now relies on us pulling what it means to be greedy. And when you check the definition of greedy from online, you will find that greedy means someone who does not like to share or eat a lot. All right? So it says, how does what I'm trying to find out compare to what I already know? Well, how does what I'm trying to find out? Well, compared to what you already know, simple as this. You are trying to find out if James is greedy, and greedy means that someone eats a lot. You get in the gist of this, right? Eats a lot. And does not like to share. All right, so this is how they compare. You're trying to find out if James is greedy, and greedy means that someone eats a lot and does not like to share. All right, so again, how does what I'm trying to find out compare to what I already know? All right, now we have taken care of that step. We have done the comparison. All right, now we're going to link given information to prior knowledge to what you want to find out. Well, from what I'm seeing here in this linking stage, we're going to have to ask ourselves, how can I link what I currently know and what I already know to determine what I'm trying to find out? This statement is sort of long, so you're going to have to take a little while and digest this statement, all right? And when you go through this stage, a linking stage, this is where you're going to have to draw the conclusion in the critical thinking process, all right? So, again, at this stage, you will now say something like this down here. James is greedy because and he eats a lot. Now, the only way you could have made this conclusion that James is indeed greedy is by doing the comparison of the information you have, what you're trying to find out, to what you already know. And then once you have connect all of those things together, then you could conclude that James is indeed greedy. And this would be the decision phase in critical thinking. You made a logical decision based on the available information in the statement, in this case, and what you're trying to find out by linking all of this given information to your prior knowledge to what you're trying to find out. All right?